Troy's bravado drains color from his face. Vic studies the floor as if the floor might forgive him. William nods to the portfolio woman. She slides the envelope into Troy's stiff hands, along with a printed release. "Sign," she says, pen ready. Now, they sign. They always sign. When the door finally shuts on their retreat, Sarah collapses, sobbing with relief that scrapes her throat raw. Emily holds her like she's trying to keep someone from falling through ice. William kneels so his eyes are level with Emily's called. He speaks softly, like whispering to a trembling horse. "You did the brave thing," he says. "Calling for help is not weakness. It's wisdom." Emily swallows. The $10 in her mind feels heavy and holy. "I'll pay you back," she says, voice cracking. "All of it. I'll work forever." William shakes his head. "No," he says. "Last night wasn't money. It was mercy. You gave me a reason to be the man I claimed to be. This is not payback. This is paying it forward. One day, you'll do the same, and that will be worth more than whatever's in that envelope." Morning at Lincoln High tastes different. The air smells like apologies reheated in a microwave, rubbery, but still edible. Madison approaches with a nervous laugh and lashes that flutter like flags. "So, last week, I was awful. There's a cafe near the station. We're going after school. You should come." Emily could say no. She could say everything she held last night like hot iron. She looks at the 10, folded small in her wallet like a charm. Okay, she thinks, maybe today. At the cafe, the girl at the counter squirts caramel into plastic cups. Ice rattles. The first sip tastes like a small, silly ceremony. Madison watches Emily's face, like she's waiting for permission to be a better person. Is it good? Emily nods, and something in the room unclenches. The seasons turn like pages thumbed by a kind wind. William does what he promised without fanfare, financial aid papers that suddenly make sense, a laptop that doesn't freeze, a part-time job at an Anderson community office that teaches Emily the algebra of emails and calendars. Sarah lands a steadier job at an Anderson-funded kitchen where the dish soap doesn't eat skin. Emily studies like the way out is through econ terms, scribbled on sticky notes, textbooks annotated into second lives, the library fluorescents humming late. The girl who learned to be invisible at 17 becomes the young woman who asks questions at 19, the intern who stays late and leaves early at 20, the graduate who shakes a dean's hand at 22 and does not look down. At the Anderson Tower, she starts at a desk that looks over a city she thought would never see her. She organizes, drafts, rephrases, revises, prints, fetches, sits in meetings where people say synergy when they mean do it by Friday. She watches William lead without raising his voice, watches him listen until air changes, watches him say no with a yes hidden underneath. On Tuesdays, she rides the elevator to the philanthropy floor. There, spreadsheets bloom into soup kitchens and literacy programs and the math of what enough might be. She watches teenagers walk in sullen and out smiling, watches mothers cry when rent gets covered, watches the way a community breathes when someone opens a window. One afternoon, William calls her into his office. The view is a map of roofs and hopes. "It's time," he says. "For what?" Emily asks, and her voice is still the voice of a kid in a train station. "For the thing only you can design." And so the grant is born, the $10 Promise, a program that targets kids who fall through the cracks where stories like hers stretch thin. Microgrants that cover fees too small for scholarships, emergency fare, a safe ride, a library card fine that blocks the e-textbook, a driver's test, shoes that let you enter a room without apology, money routed through counselors who know which kids know how to hide. They host a launch in the gym at Lincoln High. The bleachers are full of kids who don't clap loudly because clapping loudly draws heat. Emily steps up to the mic and talks in the voice she learned by listening to her mother and to men who own windows. I used to think help was a billboard, she says. Turns out it's $10 when you need 11. Madison sits up front and claps until her palms pink. Mr. Whitman finds her after and says a halting, humble thing about being better at his job. The principal blusters and begs for a photo with the banner. Emily smiles and says, of course. Grace is cheaper than revenge and pays better. Later that night, Emily and Sarah sit at their kitchen table, the new place, where the door frame is whole and the fridge hum is friendly. There's a stack of handwritten thank you notes from kids whose names she won't say on camera. One of them is from a sophomore who used the grant to buy bus passes to visit her little brother in foster care every Wednesday. Another is from a boy who bought a thrift store suit and walked into his first interview like a magic trick. Sarah touches the notes like they're newborn birds. Your father, she says, voice softer than steam, would have been proud. Emily doesn't know. She hopes. She folds the 10, the one she never spent, into a tiny acrylic frame on the shelf. A talisman, a receipt, a promise. Months pass. Then one morning, a letter arrives on thick, expensive paper. It's not a bill. It's not a threat. It's an invitation. William Anderson is stepping back, it says. Health is a whisper. Legacy is a decision. He wants to meet. They sit in his office where the light loves glass. His suit hangs looser. His eyes are brighter. He gestures to the window. None of that is mine, he says, smiling. It's rented from time. He hands Emily a folder. Inside, directives, signatures, a map. When I met you, he says, I remembered why I did this. You made me better at being rich, which is to say, you made me better at being human. Emily shakes her head, tears already organizing themselves. I gave you $10, she whispers, laughing, crying. I didn't even give it. I just didn't take it back. William laughs, and the room warms. That's the trick, he says. $10 is easy. Courage is pricey. He stands slowly, carefully, and reaches for her hand. Whatever you build next, he says, make sure it costs you something you're willing to lose. Emily walks out into the city that used to walk past her. She takes a train she once couldn't afford to ride without counting stops. At a pillar near the platform, a man, different day, asks quietly if anyone has a spare dollar for fare. People pass. The city hurries. Emily doesn't. She reaches into her wallet and pulls out a crisp 10. She keeps the framed one on her shelf. This one is for circulation. She presses it into his hand, and she means it. And she looks him in the eye like people looked at her when they wanted to teach her shame. What's your name? She asks. He tells her. She repeats it. Get home safe. He nods, stunned by the idea that home is still a place. She steps back into the train, swaying with the motion, watching the station slide by like a slow goodbye. Music swells, then settles into a steady, hopeful heartbeat. The city doesn't look back. But sometimes, if you look long enough, you find the exact place where mercy turned around. And if you're lucky, if you're brave, you stand there and pay it forward. Dinner is a quiet chorus forks, a clock with a stutter, the buzz of the ancient fridge. Then, Sarah reaches into her apron and presses a bill into Emily's hand. $10, she says, half proud, half guilty. Go get something sweet this weekend. Boba, whatever your friends like. Emily closes her fingers over the bill and feels the roughness of her mother's skin, as if it's stitched to the paper. Thanks, Mom, she says, because it's the right line in the script. What she does not say is there are no weekend plans, no group chat pinging with cafes, outfits, or movie times. Being poor is loud when you're alone. The next morning, Lincoln High is already sprinting. Locker doors bang like cymbals. Madison and her glitter lash entourage drift past Emily in a perfume cloud. "Cute jacket," Madison says without looking. "Vintage, vintage." Chase, varsity all smirk, smacks a flyer against Emily's shoulder. "Pep rally, Johnson. Try not to bring the poverty vibes." Laughter bursts, bright and cheap. Emily slides into her homeroom seat and stares at the laminate desk scarred with initials. On top, trash, crumpled wrappers, a bald napkin, a banana peel already browning. "Oops! Someone sings, loud enough for the room. Guess I thought that was the Johnson dumpster." Mr. Whitman looks up, sees, looks down. Authority is an expensive hobby, and he doesn't have the budget. Emily cleans it all silently. She's good at that, moving without taking up space. It happens that afternoon. It's the train station cement pillars, pigeons that own the place, a dusk that can't quite decide to fall. People surge toward the platforms, faces turned into maps only they can read. Near a pillar, there's a man in ripped clothes, slumped as if the city drained all the bones from his body. He tries to stand, fails, tries again. "Excuse me," he says, voice dry as old paper. "I lost my wallet, my phone. If someone could, I just need fare home, please." No one stops. Eyes skip past him like stones over water. Emily's feet keep going because that's the rule. Don't get involved. Don't get hurt. Don't be seen. She gets 5 steps away before her mother's voice lands in her ear. "No matter how hard it gets, Emily, don't give up on kindness. It's the only thing that comes back with interest." Her hand finds the 10 in her pocket. She turns. He's older 60s, maybe his hair wild, his breath clouding in the cooling air. His hands tremble like he's holding invisible glass. "I don't have much," Emily says, "but take this." She holds out the bill. For a heartbeat, he just stares at her, tears brightening the grime. Then he takes it carefully, reverently, like it's a passport. "Thank you," he whispers, then stronger. "Thank you. Tell me your name." "It's okay," she says, stepping back. Attention is a kind of danger. Just get home safe. She turns away before she can talk herself out of it, before fear can bloom. Behind her, his voice breaks on a promise. "I won't forget you." The city keeps moving. The next day keeps score. 5th period, the hallway shakes with whispers. A black limo rolls up to the student lot, glossy as ink. Kids stampede to the windows. Even teachers peek. The driver circles around, opens the rear door, and the man who steps out is not the man from last night. Or he is, but he's armored hair trimmed and silvered, suit cut in a way that says hands don't belong in pockets, shoes that could teach a class on money. Emily's heart stumbles. "Number, please no." The office intercom crackles. Emily Johnson to the main office, immediately. Every gaze pins her to her seat. Madison's eyebrows climb. "You?" Chase grins. "This will be good." Emily's knees shake the whole walk. The main office is suddenly a chapel. Principal Hart standing stiff, Mr. Whitman actually upright, the man on the leather sofa with composure poured into his bones. He stands politely the second she enters. "Miss Johnson," he says, "I'm William Anderson." Silence is loud. The name lands like a news chopper. Anderson Holdings. Headlines. Stadium naming rights. A tower that kisses the clouds downtown. "I owe you my thanks," he continues, dipping his head with humility that looks wrong on a billionaire. He explains last night, a dizzy spell, a pickpocket, a wrong turn into a hard corner of the city. "People passed," he says gently. "You didn't." He reaches for a slim card case, places a single business card on the desk. No logo, just his name and a direct number. "If you ever need help, ever call me." Emily shakes her head so quickly, her ponytail flicks her cheek. "I didn't do it for..." She can't finish. William smiles. I know. Behind him, Principal Hart clears his throat like it's an audition. Mr. Anderson, our school is honored. William's eyes never leave Emily's placid. Miss Johnson and I are talking, he says, kind and firm. The principal nods like a bobblehead, sweat pearl bright on his temple. William extends his hand. Emily doesn't know whether to shake or salute. She does neither. She just nods, small and stunned. Music thread thins. Word bleeds through Lincoln High faster than truth. By lunch, Emily's desk is polished, her nameplate straightened by unseen hands. By last bell, Madison corners her with a breathless, "We should hang out. I mean, if you're busy, we can reschedule the boba run." Emily blinks. The world is different at 3 p.m. than it was at 8. It changes again by 9. Their apartment door shudders, as if it's breathing hard. Sarah freezes, dish towel in her hand. The second kick splinters the frame. The chain snaps, and 2 men shove in Troy and Vic's shoelaces untied, breath sour, adrenaline stupid. "Rent time," Troy sings, strolling past the couch. "Plus interest, plus our time." "We please," Sarah stammers, stepping forward, palms out. "We're paying what we can." Vic grabs a picture frame from the shelf, studies the smiling toddler Emily used to be. He tosses it. Glass spiders across the floor. "Pay what you can?" Troy scoffs. "Newsflash. What you can ain't enough." He fakes a lunge. Sarah flinches. Emily moves without thinking, getting between them. Vic shoves her shoulder, an easy, ugly gesture that sends her stumbling into the wall. Something hard slides from Emily's pocket to the floor. A small rectangle. The card. William Anderson. For a second, everything stills the men's boots. Sarah's inhale, the fridge's buzz. Emily's hand moves, almost on its own. She dials with a thumb that won't stop shaking. "Mr. Anderson? It's me." She doesn't remember what she says. She remembers the sound of his voice, steady as a metronome. "We're on the way. Do not be brave. Do not resist. Stay where you are." Troy laughs when the phone clatters to the floor. "Who you calling, sweetheart? Santa?" From the street comes the clean bark of high-end engines. Headlights wash the window. Doors open. Footsteps more than too purposeful. The apartment door, already wounded, swings wide to a different kind of force. William Anderson, a bodyguard built like a polite refrigerator, a woman in a navy suit with a leather portfolio, and 2 more men who move like they carry licenses for the air. No one raises a fist. No one needs to. William takes in the room, the broken frame, the slashed door, Sarah's shaking, Emily's white knuckles, and something in his face goes very still. "Gentlemen," he says, "this is not your home." Troy scoffs on instinct. William opens the portfolio. Inside is an envelope stacked heavy with cash. This covers principal and the legal maximum interest on Miss Johnson's debt as of 8 p.m. tonight. Signed acknowledgement notarized. You'll take it and you'll leave. Vic eyes the money, the muscle, the calm. Greed wrestles with pride and wins most of the fight. But Troy wants other currency. He leans back, smirks like a bruise. "Paperwork don't scare me." "Maybe she does." He jerks his chin at Emily. "Maybe we call this collateral." William's smile disappears so completely it's like weather changing. He dials a number on speaker. The room fills with the sterile ring of someone important's phone. "Grant?" "William Anderson," he says when it's picked up. "Your bank handles the revolving credit for ARC's finance, yes?" "I'm standing in a client's apartment where 2 of ARC's collectors have forced entry and issued threats. I'm sure compliance will love the recording. I'm also sure your board will be fascinated that your portfolio includes felony." A voice on the other end craters into apology. "We, Mr. Anderson, this is unacceptable." "Correct." William says, voice like a scalpel. By morning, the line is closed. I'll forward the evidence to state regulators. And Grant, I'm CCing the Attorney General and your chair. Good night. He ends the call. Silence is different now, thick, braced, inevitable.